San Diego Comic-Con is winding down, and we unfortunately don't have a new Halloween trailer to talk about, but Blumhouse actually just put out a new movie in theaters this weekend called Unfriended Dark Web. It's the sequel to Unfriended, which came out in 2014, and I actually really liked it, which is weird because I hated Unfriended. But anyway, the gimmick with this movie is not only that it's filmed again on a computer screen, but also that there's two different endings you can get if you go see it in the movie theater, and it's totally random. So today, I'm gonna break down those two different endings and give you my spoiler review at the end of the video, so let's get into it. We're gonna start with my ending. So it actually turns out that the Sharons planned this from the very beginning. Like, they knew that Matthias would steal the laptop, they knew that Damon would download all the footage, they were just really smart and figured everything out for the people who were watching. So Matthias jumps on his bike and goes to meet Amaya at the park where they shared their first kiss. As Matthias is riding to the park, the camera cuts back to Damon's apartment where we see him get hung by one of the minions of the dark web hacker people thing, or whatever it is. It really sucked though because I like Damon a lot. He was my favorite character. After that, it cuts back to Matthias's apartment and Erica Dunn stumbles out of his closet and comes up to his computer, and we see her uncork the hole that's been drilled into her skull, and then she screams and gets cut off. I really like that effect of her uncorking her head. It was really unsettling because the kills and the violence are actually full screen in this one, which I really like. I'm gonna take this sentence a little slow because it's kind of a tongue twister. So Amaya video chats Matthias and says, "Hey, I'm at the spot you said to meet at," but it turns out that the dark web hacker guys were hacking into Matthias's phone and sending Amaya messages that told her to go somewhere else. She goes into the building she's at, and it ends up being that warehouse where we saw the smut film of the lady who was chained to the wall and the guy put down the food just out of reach, and that was really depressing and sad. We then see Amaya get grabbed from behind, which means presumably that she's gonna end up dead. After Matthias sees this happen, he realizes he's totally fucked. All of his friends are dead, his girlfriend's been captured and will be sold into this weird human trafficking ring, and his life is pretty much over. So we then pan out to the other end of it where the hackers are, and they initiate a vote for the viewers where they can vote on whether or not Matthias will live. They obviously vote resoundingly that he will die, and he gets hit by a van going like 40 miles per hour, and that's the ending I got. In this ending, Matthias still ends up hopping on his bike and riding to the park, but the footage of Erica Dunn is actually spliced in while Damon is still on Matthias's computer, so he gets to see Erica Dunn, which really isn't a big change. After that, Matthias rolls up to the park on his bike and sees a freshly dug grave. He's looking into it when he gets hit on the head from behind and falls into a coffin. In this ending, we still get to see Damon get hung just like in the other one, but Amaya actually makes it to the park this time, but lo and behold, the grave has been filled in. She calls Matthias and he wakes up underground in a coffin, which is horrifying. I really don't like when movies do that. But anyways, he obviously doesn't really know sign language because he only went to one ASL class, and every time he tries to text her, the hackers change it to, "I wish I could sign better." So if only he knew how to do sign language, he could have gotten out of the grave maybe. He probably still would have suffocated and died, but he would have had a fighting chance. So even though I only saw one of these endings, I think I got lucky, and the one I got is the one I wanted. This movie is mean-spirited and creepy and just evil out of the gate, and I feel like the ending I got is the logical conclusion to that. The conclusion I didn't get is obviously better for Amaya because she gets to live free, even though she does have to go on thinking that her friends were involved in a human trafficking ring and that they all either killed themselves or were murdered. But still, the alternative is that she ends up maybe getting a hole drilled into her head, or she gets chained to a wall and is starved to death. So I think she ends up better in the other conclusion. I really didn't like the original Unfriended because I felt like it hinged its entire existence on the gimmick of it being recorded through a computer screen, but even then, the kills were really bad. They were grainy, and then the actual kills just sucked. The characters were unlikable, and the idea of a technological ghost was just really dumb to me. Dark Web, on the other hand, assumes you've bought into the gimmick as soon as the movie begins, which results in a better movie overall because it doesn't hinge the entire plot on that gimmick. They actually spent some money on the kills this time around, and while most of them are full screen, the one that isn't is believable in the way that it's presented to you, and it actually creeped me out a bit. My favorite kill was, of course, AJ, because he gets swatted and then the cops end up killing him because shotgun cocking plays through his giant speaker. And I thought that was pretty clever, effective, and actually scary. So overall, the kills are much improved in this movie. And speaking of the characters, they are also much improved. The actors are known this time around. They're not just relatively unknowns like they were in the first one, but that results in better acting all around, so I think it's forgivable. This movie isn't gonna win any Oscars. I feel like I shouldn't even have to say that. It's totally made for the movie fan who's gonna go to the theater and have fun watching it. You know, they put enough thought into it where if you buy into the plot devices and the gimmick itself, you're gonna have a great time watching it, and I sure did. I was really impressed with this one, and I was genuinely surprised at how much I liked it. If you already checked the movie out, I'd love to hear what you think of the ending you got down below, or if you'd like to see the other ending you didn't get, or maybe if you're gonna go back to the theater and watch it again just to see if you'll get that other ending. I think that's just such a fun little thing that Blumhouse did, and maybe if we indulge them and go see this movie, they'll release the Halloween trailer a little bit sooner. But yeah, guys, that's all the time I have for today. So as always, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.